Hello friends, my name is Bisi Akande and I just want to add value to you. Hello friends, my name is Bisi Akande and I just want to add value to you. The 12th pointer to your motivation is reawaken with each new day. John Maxwell wrote a book, Today Matters. And you see, the reason today matters because today is all you've got. Today is actually all you really have. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. And yesterday is gone. You can't retrieve it. So what do you have? You have today. Today is a gift. So you've got to see it as a blessing. It's actually a blessing. Every day is a blessing because no new day is guaranteed. If you are alive today, you are fortunate, more fortunate than those who didn't make it till now. So the day has come and it's like a womb that is carrying a baby. It's like each day is pregnant with something new, and those of us who don't reawaken with each new day will not be able to access the pregnancy that the day comes with. Every day, new opportunities are open to us, and new opportunity to try something new, to see something new, to be some more, to do more, and to have more. Every day is a new opportunity that we can take advantage of. But you know what? We can put ourselves at a disadvantage if we don't reawaken with each new day. Get alive, get awake. Don't just get alive, get alert. See today as a blessing and make the most of this day. Until I get into your space again, be blessed. Hello everyone, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. It depends on where you are tuning in from, and I want to welcome you once again to your leadership community, the platform arranged for you and I to develop our leadership capacities on a weekly basis. It's so awesome to always be here and to have you in the house, in the room with me all the time, and with my friends. It's a time for us to just keep learning and keep growing and keep becoming the things that we need to become. I always say you need to be more so that you can do more and have more in life. And this particular times that we're in, the greatest need of the hour is the need for leadership to arise and be who they need to be. Last week we were talking about team leadership, and this week we want to continue in that realm. And I have in the house a very fantastic person. I've written out his profile in several ways, but he's highly experienced, 20 years of working experience before he started up his own organization, the organization that he runs, and has over 5,000 people that he has to lead and teams on every side. Recently, he had to do something new in the face of the pandemic. When I saw it, I was amazed. I said, this is good. He responded as a leader, but those things could never have happened except for team leadership. My name is Bisi Akande, and in the house with us today is Soji or Oyawoye. We call him SOJ. And I don't want to take your time because I know that he has some very hot, fresh information that you would need to hear, something that we can work on and we can use for the week as we move from being just solo leaders to becoming leaders. Is practically the community itself, so it's not new here, but I know that what he's bringing to us today is really going to be fresh. I really want to leave this space and allow him to come in and do what I know he needs to, he likes to do. I don't need to introduce him because you know him. He's been with us quite a number of times, and I know that you're going to get great value for this time and this moment. Thank you very much. Please keep your comments coming. And those of you who have questions, please send in your questions. We'll be taking your questions after now. But this is one thing that you and I need to do. Leadership is in dire need of the understanding of team leadership. And as a leader, you need to understand that. So he will be coming up shortly. Just give me this short moment as you see this. He will be coming in right now to take us on team leadership. Join me to welcome Elisha.
Hello there. Thank you so much, my good brother, Pastor Bisi, Akande, and the leadership community. It's a great pleasure to be here with you today. Just as you had said, I'm actually part of the leadership community. I look forward every Sunday at 6 p.m. to learn from the various teachings that come out of this group. And to be a guest today is actually a privilege, and I thank you for this platform. To share with you on team leadership. Team leadership. This is a very important topic, even more so for the times that we're living in right now. You see, leadership, however, is earned, and it takes time to earn it. Leadership is earned, and it actually takes time to earn it. So being the head of an organization or of a group or a department really does not make you a leader. I dare say, being a pastor at whatever level, province, regional, or parish, does not make you a leader. Being a husband or a father does not make you a leader of that family or your wife either, because leadership is earned and it takes time. But leadership can be learned. And it has great benefits in moving societies, nations, families, organizations, and faith-based or secular forward. However, it's a little easier to lead a team where you have the privilege to put together your team. But for a lot of people, teams are entrusted to us to lead. We usually often don't have the option to choose who is on that team, at least not at the start, even where we may be able to switch and change them down the line. And this makes it a bit more complicated. In both cases, though, creativity is not an individual gift. So whether you built your team from scratch or someone built a team and just engage you to go and lead the team, as happens sometimes in our organizations and whether faith-based or secular, creativity is not an individual gift. That reasoning that one person alone gets things done is a myth. Creativity is collaborative. Nobody has ever built a great thing alone. Nobody. No one knows it all the time. In fact, great and effective leaders succeed because they recognize that they don't know everything. That really is the strength of leadership in leading a team, recognizing that you can't and you certainly don't know everything. Great and successful leaders leading teams submit themselves easily where they find someone else within the team who is strong where they are weak. Before we go further, let me just attempt a quick definition of the key words, team and leadership, because the topic is team leadership. Leadership is the action of leading a group of people or an organization. Leading, meaning you have people that you are taking to a particular direction. Team, on the other hand, is a group of individuals working together to achieve a goal. So you really are not a team if you are not working together or you are not working towards a particular goal that is understood and appreciated by all. Once anybody within the team is not clear about the objective of where you are going, you really don't have a team either. But that's part of the role of a leader. In fact, I dare say the most significant skill that a leader needs to have in leading teams is the ability to envision where we are going. The second critical skill a leader needs to have in leading a team is communication skills and persuasion skills. How to then get the team to follow the leader on that journey. Let me share with you from my practical experience of over 25 years now that I've led teams. First, my last few years in the banking industry, where I was for 19 years, I was at the executive management level, and I've run an entrepreneurial business for 14 years now. I also lead several teams, church-based teams. I'm head of the social media team in my church. I am head of the editorial committee of a magazine that publishes biannual print and online. Also, I'm the head of, in my community, the village where I come from, the association. Within my extended family, I also play leadership roles in teams, all out apart from my 9-to-5 and other organizations that I'm part of. Now, so I want to share with you 9 key skills that are characteristics of successful leaders. And these are skills I have lived by, and they have worked. You see, the thing about principles as against values is values are specific to each individuals. So there are values from my family that are peculiar to us in Iludu in Kwara State. Now, there are values that are also peculiar to someone from Ijebu or from Newi. Those are values. They're not universal, but principles are universal. So I'll be sharing with you 9 key skills that are universal principles. You can't argue with them. And if you follow those principles, you would lead your team more effectively and more successfully. So I hope you have your pen and paper ready. 9 key leadership skills, principles that I have worked with in all of my years and has worked effectively for me. Number one is you must put your people first. Your first priority must be to put your people first. Everyone in your team must come first before you. Once you are leading a team, you give up your rights. In fact, you have no rights anymore. Once you take up leadership of a team, you give up your rights. So the first principle is you must put your people first. Your ego has to be killed. Oh, there are many times in my organization that I like us to do something this way, but by the time we gather in the executive meeting, and I just find people coming up with different views and alternatives, because that's the culture that I have built in the organization. And a lot of times, it's my ego is affected, because it's like, how can these people be going against what I rather let us do? But once you lead a team, your people have to come first. You have to learn to just pull back. It has to be about others in the team, not about you. And key in putting your people first is building relationships. In fact, the first foundational principle of leadership is relationship building. Relationship that is separate and unique to each individual. So if it's a team of 5 or a team of 30, you need to build relationships with each one of them, separate from the other, because every human being differs. And it's important. Part of the principle of putting your people first also is you reward in public and sanction or give negative feedback privately. So never sanction anyone in the team or give a negative feedback about anyone in the team in public. You do that privately, just you and the individual. But if there's a reward, oh, Shegun, that was a wonderful thing you did yesterday. Can we all please give a round of applause for Shegun? Oh, Ade, in fact, I'm so glad you are part of this team. So it's important you recognize good performance and reward them in public, but never rebuke or sanction in public. The second key tip that you need to focus on in leading your team better is you must produce results. You must produce results as a leader. So it's not enough to build relationships and you're all eating pizza all over the place and having suya, thank God it's Friday, and partying. That is key. That is required to first begin to build the relationships. But beyond that, you must deliver results. And to deliver results, you need to constantly educate yourself. In fact, you need to strive to know. When I say you don't know everything, that's given, but you must be the one that is reading the most, that is looking for ways to improve yourself the most, so that you are universally conversant and relevant to almost every topic or every issue that comes up. That way also, your best mind will be wrapped around the facts. So you must deliver results. You must deliver results. Because once they begin to see that you are delivering results subsequent to the relationships you have built, then they want to follow you. So we've just gone through a COVID period where we're still in it. You see, I'm saying gone through as if we're out of it, because my organization has changed significantly in the last 6 months. We've come up with 3 new businesses that we never thought of. And each of those businesses, as we discuss it, we don't spend too much time planning. We just launch out, because I have a good team that has been so developed. And they've seen one result after the other, one result after the other. So then they want to associate with that growth pattern and that success. So first, again, you must put your people first. Second, you must produce results. Third key skill that is significant in leading a team effectively is you must be flexible. Yes, you must be flexible. All of work and life has a lot of uncertainty in it. So as you move, you must be ready to change plans and respond to each situation as it comes. A lot of leaders, again, because of their ego, they find it difficult to change course, even when the team is telling them, oh God, we need to slow down, or we need to go in another direction. Sometimes the leader is that we spend so much time and resources. No. You guys are just lazy. You must do it. No, you have to be flexible. That's a key principle in leading a team. Recent happenings worldwide has further shown us why we should not be fixated on any plan. I mean, if you are like my organization, most organizations late last year had a strategic session. We had 2 days. We locked ourselves up in some hotel to plan for this year, what we'll do, what we won't do, and all of that. And we left the session pumped up. And January, we started out. Then February, by mid-February, the noise started. And by mid-March, we're all locked up. And nothing has been the same again. So you must be flexible and be ready to pivot. By the way, pivot is a word most people heard for the first time in the last 6 months. Pivot means you must be ready to turn, pivot. So first, again, put your people first. 2, produce results as a leader. 3, you must be flexible. The fourth key skill, key principle that I have worked with that will add significant value to your leadership in leading any team, whether it's a family-based, secular-based, faith-based, whatever that organization is. The fourth is you must leverage your team. You must leverage your team. You must leverage your team. Bring your team together. You may have the same vision. Remember, you've communicated your vision, they've bought into it, but there are different perspectives in achieving that vision, and you must be open to the different perspectives. So you need to stop trying to make everybody in your team to behave and think alike. In fact, you're no longer a team if everybody in the team behaves and think alike. I struggle with this in the earlier parts of my journey as a leader of teams. You know, I had my biases, some coming from my faith, some from my values. You know, I see someone with Jerry curls and instantly I just conclude that this must be an irresponsible person. I see someone, and I just had all of these silly predispositions in just judging people until I began to realize that it's the content, is what the person brings to the table, to the team that we need, not what they look like, not where they face to worship, as it is. In fact, one of the greatest errors of leadership, right, is to want everybody in your team to think and behave alike. You don't have a team anymore. Just imagine a football field. I'm a football team. If everybody is an attacker, or everyone is a goalkeeper, of course that team is going to lose out. So it's the same thing. Leverage your team, and you begin to find out their individual strengths from that first principle of putting your people first in building relationships, in getting close to each of them, individual and separate to the others, as it is. The fifth key principle that I have worked with that has helped my leadership in leading teams that I'd like to commend to you is you must communicate judiciously. You must communicate judiciously. So it's not so much about communicating a lot. It's actually less talking, but more listening. Less talking, but more listening. This actually requires emotional intelligence. You need to be emotionally intelligent to communicate better in teams, because as we should know, 55% of communication is non-verbal. Only 7% of communication are the words spoken, like I'm speaking here. And then 38% of communication is the tonality. So for example, if a subordinate was to ask you as a team lead, I'm a little tired, really. I know we have this project to finish, but do I have to come to work tomorrow? And the boss responds with a no. The boss has said no, but the body language and the tonality of that no, what he's really saying is, well, you're on your own. But if the boss really is okay and comfortable for that individual not to come tomorrow, then the most appropriate to communicate judiciously is to say, no, you don't have to come. You need to get some rest. So you must communicate judiciously. The tonality and the body language is important. So in leading teams, your people, right, are watching you. And it's not so much what you say, it is what you do or how you do it. 6, you must grow your influence. You must grow your influence. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So to lead teams effectively, you must grow your influence. Now, to grow your influence requires a good understanding of the science of persuasion. And one of the best book or teaching I've read on the science of persuasion is by Robert, I think it's Robert Cialdini. And he came up with 5 key tips to help improve your persuasion. And I'll quickly run through them. So in growing your influence, 1, you must be consistent. Human beings desire to save face all the time. So once you are consistent, right, and you consistently are nice to people, they will be nice to you as well. And that grows your influence. 2, there must be reciprocation. Most people will return a favor done to them. So you want to grow your influence, be intentional in being the first to give, the first to sow, the first to add value to somebody. That power of reciprocation is universal. They will look for an opportunity to also pay you back, not necessarily in kind, but in one way or the other, and your influence grows. Another thing that helps you grow your persuasion and your influence using the science of persuasion by Robert Cialdini is liking. People like those who like them. It's just natural. So you want to grow your influence, then love people and be intentional in liking them. 4th thing is there must be social proof. So you must grow yourself, and people need to be able to see that you're an authority in that thing you are trying to get the team to do. The more they see you as an authority in that field, that naturally grows your influence, especially if people outside that team are referencing you. Then it grows your team. I'm just, yesterday, I was speaking to a friend of mine in Abuja, and he said, guess what? That he met somebody who was going all over about me. That I was Soji Oyawoye, oh, he's this, he's that, oh, I met him. And he was just smiling. And when the person finished, he just told him, oh, I know Soji very well. In fact, he's my brother. Now, this individual is Igbo. as it is. But we've gotten that close for him to say, I'm his brother. And the other individual was like, really? And there was more of an argument between the two of them that, no, I know him more than you. Now, that is social proof that two people met each other. They didn't know that they both knew me, and both were confirming whatever it was that they saw as my space that I own out there as an authority in something. So that expands your influence. And lastly, on the ways to grow your influence is, again, people are drawn consistently to people of authority. So you must make sure that you consistently improve yourself and look for ways to speak. Like I'm doing here. There are people that are in the leadership community that may be listening to me for the first time ever as it is, and wherever else someone may be sharing this as a watch party. So that also grows my influence. So if you're leading a team, don't hold yourself back and say, I don't like social media. No, I don't like interviews. In the world that we live in, these are critical ways to grow your influence. Because as a leader, there are times you will need to have things done. And you'll be able to pick up your phone and call somebody within your network who gets that thing done for somebody in your team. That further grows your influence without you spending a kobo out of it. Seven. If I need to quickly run you through, the first I said is put your people first. 2, you must produce results. 3, you must be flexible. 4, leverage on your team. Diversity is great for teams. A team that is not diverse is not a team. 5, communicate judiciously. 6, grow your influence. 7, you must be intentional in building your people. You must be intentional in building your people. Now, this goes back to the first point, relationships, because as you get to build relationships with your people, then you get to see and find out where you can help them improve and become better. So help them to find and enhance their strengths. That's how you build people in your team. It's your responsibility to coach them into their purpose, including coach them to leave your team and go and pursue what they're really created for, because you have watched them and you have seen where their strengths are. And their strengths may not be in what they're doing in your team, for God's sake. So it's part of your responsibility, right, to build your people. In fact, if people have worked under you for 6 months and beyond, and they cannot beat their chest to point out what value, what improvement you have made into their lives in developing them as a person, then you're not a leader. You're not a leader. So these are things that you need to do intentionally to build people. There's no one that has worked with me that, in fact, part of my feedback joy is usually when I hear them, oh, thank you. I couldn't do this until I began to work under you, or you made me this. And sometimes I tell you, it's not even about the work. One that always beats me, sometimes I meet my staffs, the married ones, that I meet their husband or their wives or their parents. And the wife or husband or parent is thanking me, thank you for what you have done for my husband, for my wife or my son. And I'm like, really? What exactly? And they said, no, really, that they have changed. They are now this. And I'm like, whoa. Now, in a lot of instances, I never sat down in a room with those people to talk about whatever they may have influenced them. But all of these principles we're sharing is what had rubbed off one way or the other on them, and they become better people. 8, remember I said 9 principles. We're on the 8th one now. You must be authentic. You must be authentic. Authenticity is what people respond to in leadership. So leadership is not what you say, it is what you do. In my office, Resource Intermediaries Limited, we don't have attendance register. But nobody comes late. Resumption time is 8. Everybody's in the office before 8. But there's no attendance sheet. Nobody checks anybody. Why? I am the MD CEO. I'm part owner of the business. I'm in the office every day, latest 7:45. And I don't check who is late. I just walk in, greet whoever is there, and I go to my office. In 14 years, that has been consistent. That's authenticity. So I don't need to tell them, don't be late. Right? And the days I need to be a little later than 8, I send a chat to the executive management, guys, I'm going to be running late today. I don't need to tell every staff, but those that report to me, they know. I don't need to tell them. I own the business. I'm the MD CEO. So that is authenticity. Let me tell you another story about authenticity. Because it's not what you say, it's what you do. When my organization was about 6 years old, we started in 2006. So it was about 2012 or 2011. Stanbic IBTC Bank approached us to give us a loan. And at that time, we didn't break even in my organization until year 5. So it was just about first year of month-on-month profit. And the Stanbic IBTC approached us and said, they'd like to give us a loan of 30 million naira for us to administer to any staff that is interested. The terms of the loan were, interest rate was I said 2011, very low. Interest rate, I think, was about 5 or 6% per annum. No collateral, and you pay back over 5 years. Such a fantastic deal. Now, I took that letter to the executive management meeting to discuss how we're going to administer it. At that time, I had an executive management team of 6. And to my dismay, one by one, members of the executive team began to say, sir, I want 5 million naira. I want 10 million naira. Before we could finish that discussion, 30 million had been taken up by 4 people in the executive management team. And I just sat there and looked at them. That won't happen in my organization today. Those were part of the, that's why I said leadership takes time. Building an organization or a team takes some time. And I said, gentlemen, we are the executive management team. Such a benefit came to this organization. At that time, I think we had core staff of about 33. 4 of you have shared 30 million naira. If you were not in executive management and you hear, because somebody will sign the check now in accounts, somebody will process the transaction, and then the organization begins to hear that we got such a fantastic offer and the executive management team shared it, then you've killed the organization. You don't have a team anymore. So I said, no, gentlemen, that is not what we're going to do. You know what? Head of HR, send a mail to all staff. Let them know the terms. Let anyone who is interested apply for the loan. Then, when we get all the applications in, we'll start from the most junior staff, whose salary is likely to be about the least as well. Drivers, janitors, and the likes. That's what we did. And I tell you, by the time we did that, practically everybody applied. And that's how we disbursed the 30 million naira. It went around about 18 staff, starting from the list, because for some of them, loan they'll pay back 5 years, not more than a third of their monthly salary debits by HR labor practices, meaning they will take maybe 500,000 naira loan out of the 30 million. And that was it. Now, you can imagine what happened to the team after that. They were so excited that we were thinking about them, because leading a team, right, it's not about the leader, it's about the followers, it's about your people, it's about putting them first. Remember, that's the first principle. Now, guess what? 3 months after, Stanbic IBTC came back and said, we have administered it so well that no more limits, no, it's not 30 million naira cap anymore. Anybody who wanted the loans can take. Even I, MD, I took 15 million naira loan. So it went round. That is leadership in teams. So be authentic. Also, you don't have all the answers as a leader, and you're not expected to. So don't fake it. There are times I've cried in the office when there are serious issues, either with statutory organizations, those kind of things that they'll lock you down if you have not done this, and all those harassment that goes on in running a business in an environment. Or the 1 or 2 instances also that I had to be locked up by EFCC over things that happened almost 30 years ago in the banking industry and things like that, that I knew nothing about, just that my signatures were on some document. So, and once or twice I've been practically arrested from the office. So of course I've had some emotional downtimes. Now, at such moments, I'm a human being. So when it's time to cry, please cry. That's being authentic. Being authentic, then your staff, your team can also then see that this is a human being. I mean, Oga also has this pain. You understand? So I feel it too. I'm human. So that's how you lead teams effectively. And lastly, the ninth key principle, you need to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Most leaders don't take care of themselves. So even though we said put your people first, and you can say, I've put last year, take care of yourself. You must take care of yourself. You must schedule time for eating right, for exercises, feeding your spiritual being, whatever your faith level is, and your physical and spiritual being. You must make out time for things like that. You must schedule time for your family and your loved ones. You must schedule time for me time when it's just you. Take a walk, go to the beach, go eat a good food alone with nobody else, no family, nobody else. As a leader, you need moments like that to reset. You need moments to shut down. No telephone, no newspaper, nothing. No meetings, nobody. I do that periodically. I mean, before this lockdown and what have you, I take my vacation once every 3 months rather than pile it all up. Then even within 3 months, on an average week, either I go late someday or on the weekend, I just walk around in the garden. Thankfully, I live in a good neighborhood. Right. So have me time alone when you shut down everything. In rounding up, before I take your questions, I think we're relatively good for time, right? Everyone across the world is seriously affected by the pandemic and its economic fallout. So it's important to show empathy, whether you're a leader or part of a team. So this is advice for those of you that either are reporting to some leader or you're a leader. The moments we're in, empathy is required, both by the leaders and the followers. So don't assume it's all well with your leaders as well if you're not a leader. I tell you, they're hurting pretty bad. And if they're not as gifted or skilled in the principles that I've shared with you, they are bottling it up, but they are depressed. So don't just think it's just about your own salary and your own comfort. Empathy is both ways. Then be as close to people as you can, but always keep your head above the crowd. So a leader that is leading a team must be close to the people as much as you can, but your head must be above the crowd. So you don't get too close that then they begin to put their hands into your nose or your mouth, as they say. If you put your hand into my mouth too much, I will bite that hand out. So water knows its level in spite of all that I've shared with you. Again, leadership community, thank you so much for this privilege. I'll take questions now as they come. And I don't know where I'll say the questions. I'm not familiar with Stream yet, so you help me out. Thank you. I see a question. In the name of flexibility, should I bring unbeliever to drive my vision as a Christian? On why and how should we set boundaries? You see, this thing about unbeliever is a relative term. My view generally is, if we really have those many believers around us in a country like Nigeria, should the nation really be the way it is? And I've worked with all kinds of people, and I regret to say some of my greatest disappointments are believers. I'm a Sunday school teacher in Redeem, so I'm a man of faith myself. So if I need a painter, my first principle is not whether you're a believer or you're an unbeliever. It is I want to see the quality of your work and your integrity. There's a carpenter that I've used now. His name is Kwame. He's from Togo. I've used Kwame for about 30 years in all kinds of projects. And he's one of the most reliable people. I can leave him in my bedroom and just go out. But there's so many brothers that I would dare not live anywhere inside my house. So it's not about brother or Christian or Muslim or any of those values, right? And by the way, look at our Lord Jesus Christ himself, like Pastor Bisi shared recently. These disciples were people who had all of those vices that we now begin to question. The church actually is a clinic, is a place for sick people. So if everybody in the church is not sick and they are believers, then they should stop going to church, go outside and look for sinners and sick people to bring into church. That's my view.
Wow, that's so awesome. SOG, fantastic, fantastic. In fact, somebody put a question there. He said, are you a Nigerian?
I'm from Iludo in Kwara
I want
State.
to know that question. See what I'm talking about. Are you a Nigerian, sir?
You can Google my
and
name.
Then somebody else said, well, we need people like you in government. Things can change.
Well, that's the reality. People like me, the biggest thing about government is, I think the major problem of government is not really government, it's followers, it's you and I. If you are to hear today an announcement that Soji Oyawoye has been made Minister of Finance, likely my village people, my church people, my old students will want to host me to a dinner. Where were they when I was struggling to pay my children's school fees? Why didn't they host me to dinner then? So it's not about the leader. We are the ones corrupting the leaders.
Good. So that's so fantastic. Odeyemi said he's from my place. I know him. So actually, I think the bottom line of what they are talking about is the fact that when you look at leadership today, there's a lot of problem with trust. You spoke about authenticity, and that's so true. My challenge with the COVID that has changed a lot of things about the world today is the fact that I realized that some people didn't even believe that there's COVID. Why? Because they don't trust the people that are telling them there's COVID.
Absolutely.
That was a major. People could risk their life because they don't believe somebody who is telling them that, okay, you are saying that you are this. So we really need more of authenticity. But you see, for those of us who are in the leadership community, we must always remember that the guest and myself, whenever we come on board, we are talking to us about the places we can change so that we can change the people we cannot change. And the places we can change is ourselves. We all can change ourselves. We can do something about ourselves. Then we can affect the people that are out there.
You can't lead anybody if you have not led yourself. I mean, that's what our mentor John Maxwell teaches us. Right. Leadership starts first with me. If I have not led myself, I can't lead somebody else.
I see another question here. Let me put it up for you so that you can read it. Which book are you reading currently, and which one has the greatest impact on you lately?
The thing about me and books, honestly, is I'm not one of those that say I've read 4 books, 5 books. I just basically glance through. But the book that has had the most impact on me lately is As a Man Thinketh. As a man thinketh, so is he. Everything in the world is created twice. It's created first in our thinking, everything, good or bad, right? Twice in our thinking, then you act it out, right? So just look for that book, As a Man Thinketh. It is a fantastic book, and that's one that has most impacted me lately. Another one close to that is by my mentor, John Maxwell, The 5 Levels of Leadership. And he says there are 5 levels of leadership. Strangely, 70% of leaders are on the lowest level, but they are running big corporations. They are running countries. They are running countries, but they are the lowest level of leaders. That lowest level is where a leader is. It's all about me. If it wasn't for me, you won't be here. I'm the one that made you. Do you know who I am? And they are billionaires. Doesn't make them a leader as it is. So go look for that book as well. 5 Levels of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. Those 2 books I'll recommend.
I see somebody asking, As a Man Thinketh, who is the author? That book is by James Allen.
James Allen. Yes, it's by James Allen. Fantastic book. And it's a very small book, but fantastic.
Yeah, I've read that book too over and over again. In fact, I've even taught a program on that book, and it is so amazing. I mean, the people that we went through that program with, each one of them is bubbling in. I think I have 1 or 2 of them in the community right now who are listening. It's a book that you really want to read. It's a fantastic book. As a Man Thinketh really changes a lot of things. a lot of things, a lot of things. Wow, thank you so very much. Okay, one other question came in, one last question, because I think this question is coming because you say take care of yourself. So somebody is asking you this question. Can I appreciate my friend from Solwezi? Thank you very much for coming on board. I see a brother from Solwezi that is in Zambia, one of the provinces in Zambia. You're welcome. So he asked a question, how do you unwind, sir?
Well, I'll talk about me. Each person has to find what works for them. I love nature. So I love to take walks where there is a garden. I love to go to the beach. And I eat well. I love to just, sometimes I watch a movie. I have me moments, times that I just want to be alone. And I'm married to a wonderful woman, Bisi, who I believe is also on this call. So we give each other those moments for ourselves as it is. Just like our systems, phone and all of that. There are moments when it just freezes and stops to work. Then you restart it. Once you restart it, then it's back. So a human being, we are the same thing. So don't say you're a leader and everybody is calling you left and right and you feel so important and you want to be there for everybody. You will die and they'll move on to the next leader.
All right. So in fact, I just put in there now, learn to freeze. Learn to freeze. Once in a while, just freeze. Yeah. And then when you're ready, you restart yourself and move on. Your life. Yeah. Correct. Thank you so very much. It's been very, very fantastic. I must tell you, I mean, anytime we have times together, it's always a learning moment for me. Guys, Soji and I, we always have those special moments. We chat a lot. When we need to talk, we talk. And then we've done a couple of trainings together. And it's always been great learning moments for me. He's a man that you want to follow. So if you want to follow, please just look for Soji. Please, Soji, I think you need to just let them know your handle so that they can follow you for those who want to continue on this journey with you.
I'm quite active online. First, I have a free coaching hub on WhatsApp. I have a free coaching hub on WhatsApp. It is at +234 704 366 7607. +234 704 366 7607. If you send a text there, I'll send you the link. It's a free hub, and twice a month I get a coach to do an hour with people. Outside that, I'm on Instagram as Sojiwoye, Sojiwoye on Instagram. On Facebook, it's just Soji Oyawoye. But really, the easiest thing really, I think, is just go to sojioyawoye.com. That's my website, sojioyawoye.com. Everything about me, including my profile, my projects, the 6 books that I've written, everything about me, and how to contact me, you'll see in that website, sojioyawoye.com.
Awesome. Fantastic. There is one question, and I think we should take the question instead to the other question, and then we'll just shut it down because it's 15 minutes gone. I usually like to keep this under an hour so that we can go and ruminate on what we have done. He's asking, how do we handle a team member that takes your flexibility, simplicity, and people-oriented leadership for granted? These things happen. How do we handle them?
Well, first, when you lead a team, let me share with you, you need to quickly, in that putting your people first and getting to know them, you need to put your people into 3 buckets. And you're not going to tell them you have done so, but you need to quickly know who are your principal supporters, people who are running with your vision. In fact, they're not following you blindly, but they quick buy in, and they will literally die for you. Then you need to also quickly recognize those who are what you call dark siders. No matter what you do, they will never buy in. If you like, give them your blood. They're just some people like that. It's not about you. A lot of them have issues from their own background or past, and you are not, especially depending on the team, leave their character reformation to their pastor and imam. That's not your own responsibility. You understand? You just focus on the task of the vision. Then there's a third group. They are what you call fence sitters. They're not your supporters. They're not dark side. They're in the middle. When the team achieves anything successful, they quickly jump in and become a supporter, and they will celebrate. Yeah, we've done it. When the team fails, they will quickly jump to the other side, dark sider. We've been watching him. He thought he's the only one that knows it. So they are fence sitters. Now, research has shown that in any team, you're not likely going to find more than 20 to 30% that are heavily behind you, no matter what you do. No matter what you do. You're likely to find about 20 or another 30% that are dark siders. The bulk are usually in the middle, 40 to 50%. They're just on the fence. When things work, they will celebrate with you. When things don't work, so don't worry. Even your family, is everybody together? Even your own family. So how do you expect people in a team to be together? It's just the way life is. But you'll be constantly focused on your vision. And be good, be nice. And where somebody is unable to be malleable, you exit them out of your team. You exit them. And it does not mean that they're useless. It just means that they're not fit for that team. So you go and help them find what they are good at and push them in that direction. And I've done that to a lot of people. So it's not that there's something wrong with them. They just don't fit. Find what they fit in, help them find that thing, and push them there. Again, your influence grows because they will recognize that I didn't do well here. They didn't kill me. They still found me on my purpose. Your influence grows.
That's so correct. I agree with you totally on that. Wow. So it's time to call it a day. I think it's been very, very fantastic. Great learning moments. Thank you, SOJ. I really appreciate your coming online, and always a great time spending time with you. Thank you, guys. It's been so awesome. It's been so fantastic. Thank you for making this another day. Now, we are working on certain things on the leadership community, and we are looking at the 3 I's: impact, influence, and income. Something is coming your way very shortly. We've been looking at leadership, but there are other attachments to leadership that we're going to look at: influence, impact, income, because we all need it. As we go along, stay with us. This is definitely a great place for us to be. Once again, thank you, SOJ. Really appreciate you for taking our time to be with the community. God bless you real good. Thank you so much. And thank you, guys. I also need to be out of here. Thank you for joining us. Have a very great day ahead of you. God bless you. Hello friends, my name is Bisi Akande, and I just want to add value to you. The 12th pointer to your motivation is reawaken with each new day. John Maxwell wrote a book, Today Matters. And you see, the reason today matters because today is all you've got. Today is actually all you really have. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. And yesterday is gone. You can't retrieve it. So what do you have? You have today. Today is a gift. So you've got to see it as a blessing. It's actually a blessing. Every day is a blessing because no new day is guaranteed. If you are alive today, you are fortunate, more fortunate than those who didn't make it till now. So the day has come, and it's like a womb that is carrying a baby. It's like each day is pregnant with something new, and those of us who don't reawaken with each new day will not be able to access the pregnancy that the day comes with. Every day, new opportunities are open to us, and new opportunity to try something new, to see something new, to be some more, to do more, and to have more. Every day is a new opportunity that we can take advantage of. But you know what? We can put ourselves at a disadvantage if we don't reawaken with each new day. today. Get alive, get awake. Don't just get alive, get alert. See today as a blessing and make the most of this day. Until I get into your space again, be blessed.